Betrayed by her alien father, she offered herself to a human, vowing vengeance together. The moons of Vathros bled red across the shattered plains. Smoke still curled from the ruins of a once proud keep, its spires cracked and blackened. The banners of House Dravyr, once among the most powerful noble clans in the Orion Reach, lay trampled in the dust. And at the heart of that ruin, a young woman knelt. Her hands were bound, her eyes blazing with fury that cut through the ash. Her name was Solera Dravyr, daughter of Baron Charon, and she had just been cast aside by her own father. He had abandoned her to die so his enemies would feast on her flesh and spirit, claiming her as a spoil of conquest. To Charon, she was an expendable pawn, proof of loyalty offered to rival lords. But to Solera, the betrayal seared deeper than any blade. When the last of her guards fell, she thought she would die screaming. But fate sent her someone else. Someone no one had expected. A human. The beginning. Out of the wreckage. Elias Varen was a scavenger by trade, a human drifter who picked clean battlefields for tech, fuel cells, and whatever scraps could be sold back on the rim. Humanity wasn't respected in the Reach. They were tolerated, at best. But Elias had learned to keep his head down, move quick, and survive. When he stumbled into the ruins of House Dravyr's keep, he expected to find corpses and salvage. Instead, he found her beaten, bound, but still alive. Human, she spat when she first saw him, silver eyes burning. Take what you came for and leave. My blood isn't yours to claim. Elias almost did. Walking away was safer. But something in her voice, pride clinging to life, fire unextinguished, made him hesitate. You look like someone who's been thrown to the wolves, he said quietly. And I've been that someone before. Her gaze softened for just a moment. Then she whispered, My father betrayed me. He bartered my death for power. I want vengeance. Will you help me, human? Elias should have said no. Getting tangled in alien noble feuds was suicide. But in her eyes he saw more than vengeance. He saw the will to fight back. And he'd been alone too long. He cut her bonds. All right, but we do this together. The middle, a pact of fire. They fled into the wastes, hunted by assassins sent to finish her. Elias taught Solera human survival tricks, how to mask heat signatures with mud, how to rig traps from broken tech, how to keep moving even when hunger clawed at the gut. She, in turn, taught him the secrets of the Dravyr line, codes hidden in old ruins, caches of weapons her father had forgotten, allies who might still be loyal to her. Around campfires of scavenged fuel, they began to speak not just of survival, but of vengeance. You saved me, she told him one night, her voice low. But I need more than rescue. I need to strike back. Will you share your strength with me? Strength? Elias asked. She leaned closer, her silver eyes reflecting firelight. Among my people, sharing body is sharing fate. If we bind ourselves, my father's enemies will see us as one. They will fear us. They will hate us. And together, we will cut him down. Elias hesitated. She was alien, proud, and dangerous. But her betrayal had carved her hollow, and she was offering him a bond deeper than alliance, something that merged survival with intimacy, revenge with desire. Slowly, he nodded. Then we share. That night, they became more than allies. Rising conflict, shadows of betrayal. Word spread quickly across the Reach. The Baron's daughter still lived, and she walked beside a human. To the alien houses, it was blasphemy. To Baron Charon, it was humiliation. Bounties doubled overnight. Assassins came with plasma blades and venom darts. Twice they were ambushed. Twice they cut their way out, Elias's grit and Solera's fury making them a storm no enemy could contain. But vengeance was not just battle. It was strategy. Solera led Elias into forgotten tunnels beneath her family's old strongholds, where starship schematics lay buried. She taught him how to unlock sealed vaults of weapons. He, in turn, showed her how humans fought dirty, sabotaging supply lines, seeding rumors among rival lords, making her father's empire bleed from within. Every night they planned, every dawn they struck. Their bond grew sharper, forged in fire and desire alike. The climax, the Baron's fall. At last, their path led them back to Vathros, to the seat of Baron Charon's power. He stood before his banners, cloaked in arrogance, flanked by mercenaries. "You bring shame on your bloodline," he sneered at Solera. "Sharing your body with a human scavenger? Pathetic." Solera's voice cut like steel. "Better a human who stood with me than a father who left me to die." The battle was chaos. Elias fought like a cornered wolf, his human reflexes and stubborn while catching Charon's guards off balance. Solera cut through mercenaries with the elegance of a blade long denied its purpose. At the height of the clash, Elias and Solera stood back to back, their movements perfectly in sync, their bond burning like fire in their veins. When at last Baron Charon fell to his knees, bleeding and broken, Solera raised her blade. But instead of killing him outright, she let Elias step forward. "This is your betrayal to answer," she told him. Elias met the Baron's gaze. "You left her to die, but she chose to live with me. That's something you'll never understand." And with that, the Baron's reign ended. The ending, vengeance shared. In the weeks that followed, Solera claimed what was left of her house. Not through mercy, but through fire and strength. The nobles who had mocked her now bowed, for they had seen her rise from death itself. And beside her stood Elias, no longer just a scavenger. He was her consort, her equal, her vengeance made flesh. Together, they ruled not as Baron and daughter, but as survivors who had remade themselves in the ashes of betrayal. Late one night, as they looked out across the burning plains where their war had begun, Solera leaned against him. "You gave me more than survival, human," she murmured. "You gave me revenge. And now you have all of me." Elias wrapped his arm around her. "Guess we both found something worth fighting for." Their enemies would rise again, as enemies always did. But now, bound by fire and vengeance, they would face them together. Not as pawn and scavenger, not as noble and outcast, but as one.